again, and welcome to our full moon today, June 21st, the day after summer solstice. And it will be a full moon in Capricorn following the new moon. And we're going to hear from Claire in terms of what that means to have a full moon in Capricorn and what sort of insights she has for this season. So Claire, as you do, just share what feels relevant to you.
Thank you. Hi everybody. It's a full moon on the top of a mountain. I say that because Capricorn is the glyph for the Capricorn sign is the goat, mountain goat, making its way up a mountain, and that's just a visual to get us started. But I have a practice of starting any kind of moon meditation with the moon. So, having just brought up the goat, I want to back up and talk about the moon. So the moon is our emotional needs, oftentimes I think when we set goals for ourselves, there are two categories. We can do it for our externalities or our internalities. And the moon, of course, represents what's internal. And I often use the word emotions, but there's more than emotions in our internal lives. There's, as I just mentioned, there's goal setting, there's intentions, the way we see our past, the way we're experiencing the present, and what we aspire to or what we want, what we long for emotionally is it's kind of why we sit down and talk about the moon twice a month here, new moon and full moon. So beginning with the awareness of our emotional, just keep in mind everything else I just said and anything that's come up for you. Emotional just means internal, let's say. Our internal needs, personal needs for connection, needs in relationships, is what I'd like to kind of bring your attention to on this full moon. Because the sign of Capricorn really does have to do with goal setting. In a strictly, let's say in a sun sign realm, the sign of Capricorn is all about getting from here to there. That's what the goat does. It climbs mountains. And there's a little known fact about Capricorn, which is that along the path, it often chooses to stand still because there's nowhere to go. A Capricorn that is standing still, to someone on the ground looking up at let's say a goat halfway up a mountain, they might say, what is that stupid goat doing, not getting up the mountain? Why aren't we reaching our goals more quickly? But the, quote, stupid part is to make such a judgment, because when you zero in on that Capricorn, what they're really doing is waiting for snow to melt or waiting for a path to become clear or to reveal itself. Because if it makes a false move, what the goat knows is that it will fall to its death. There's something very strict about the Capricorn energy. It has a very good way of making decisions and a very senior way of aligning priorities with choices and all that. And it also has the gift of what's called masterful inaction. If you can't do anything, don't do something. That phrase, don't just do something, sit there, which is a pun on don't just sit there, do something. There's something powerful about inaction when we don't know what to do. And so that is where the moon meets, the full moon here meets the sign of Capricorn. It's knowing where you are. And that could, today's full moon in Capricorn could be that you are emotionally clear on where you want to go. It can also mean you're emotionally, it's an invitation to be emotionally clear that you don't know where to go, but our culture doesn't really allow for that in a generalized sense, right? I mean, we don't often get permission to just take a day off in the middle of the week, or look at your friend and say, I have no idea what I'm doing. We have other ways of saying I don't know what I'm doing. We act compulsively. That's kind of our way of saying I don't know what to do. So if you're following this, it's just that the idea is that the full moon is a time to, a full moon in Capricorn is a time to invite your inner knowing to have some sway, to have some authority, to have some I mean, the moon is at home in Cancer, right? The moon is generally, we say, ruled by Cancer. Cancer is opposite Capricorn. Capricorn is in traditional astrology the father, and Cancer in traditional astrology is the mother. So this full moon in Capricorn is sort of like when parents are getting along in our idealized sense of the family. The child has everything it needs to just be a child. It's that sense, that triadic sense of balance that this full moon in Capricorn is giving us, not to do anything other than what it is you feel like doing. And I guess what I'm getting at is just, it's an invitation for real awareness. Doesn't mean that you have to do what father says. It doesn't mean you have to be, in tune with mother. It just means you have everything at your disposal. What is it that you need? That's the invitation of a full moon in Capricorn. Does it mean that you want to sit still and wait for the snow to melt until the path that you might need is revealed? Is it that you see the path and you want to go for it and scurry up the mountain? Or is it that you want to go back down? That's another thing about Capricorn, is in the sort of earliest glyph of Capricorn, there's a little hint at Scorpio at the bottom. There's a little hook, which is just related to the bottom of the ocean, because that's where the mountain starts. It starts deep, deep, deep down. You don't really know what mountain to climb until you know where you want to go, hopefully. That little nod to Scorpio is that you have to have gone to the depths of your existence. Sometimes we see that as a a negative experience, being sort of confronted with the depths of your reality. However you have seen that in your life, that is part of the Capricorn sign, really, because going to the top of the mountain, I mean, mountains do start down under sea level. So that's part of this. You can go back down and find more about, you can pick another mountain, basically, is what I'm saying, is that you can scurry up this mountain, or you can decide that this isn't, that's a very, very wise decision. Goats, they're sort of the wise old goat, that's sort of a thing. So you don't have to go forward. You can stand still and you can turn around and go down. That's sort of the, and I mean this in the wisest way, that is the permissiveness of the mother. A wise mother is permissive because she gives permission to her child to find its way. The mother, and I mean this in the most gender neutral way, doesn't force the child to accomplish things. She invites the child to find its way, to learn what's good for their insides. And navigating the outside world and doing what's good for you on the inside is often a contradiction or makes us feel pushed and pulled. But again, this full moon in Capricorn is a way to say, hey, I can go, well, shout out to Willie Mays right there. I'm going to say, hey kid, but it is someone playing at their best game in this contradictory life. Another sort of point that I'm getting to here in my own meditation is that you might have arrived. Don't forget to notice if you've arrived at where you wanted to be. That's another part of this full moon in Capricorn, with the permission to do what's best for you. Oftentimes with our accomplishment driven society, we fail to notice when we have accomplished what we set out to do. So that's another part of standing still, is to say, you know what, I did it. I'm where I want to be emotionally, or for my, I've made peace with my past, or I'm ready to let go of something. That's also what this full moon in Capricorn invites us to do. And this is a lot. I acknowledge that this is a lot of energetic tallying. So I just wanted to let everybody know that we have 2 full moons in Capricorn this summer. The next full moon is also in Capricorn, and that's a really big deal. We do get 2 shots at this, which is, I think, another way of holding this parents getting along idea. It's not either or. It's both. We're going to come back to this next month. Full moon in Capricorn. It is like having the yin yang centered within us. So it's a great time to sort of perk up and say, who are you? Who do you want to be? And maybe you are who you want to be. That's kind of where I'd like to end it. Do you have anything to add?
No,
Jamie?
no, I don't. I'm gonna sit with what you said and just encourage myself, as I usually say to you guys who are listening, just to make some space to digest what is coming through for you, and with this information, how to integrate it. Thank you for sharing, Claire.
My pleasure.
All right, we'll see you in the next new moon in 2 weeks.